If you're drawn to dark romance where safety feels intimate, where protection is silent and waiting becomes devotion, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is the story of the building I moved into for anonymity, and the man who decided I mattered enough to secure it. I meet him on my third night. Not because he introduces himself, because he locks the front door behind me. The sound is sharp in the quiet lobby, metal sliding into place, deliberate and final. I turn startled, my pulse spiking before I can stop it. "I'm sorry," I say automatically. I didn't mean to." "You didn't," he interrupts calmly. He's tall, white, mid-30s, dressed in dark slacks and a pressed shirt, sleeves rolled to his forearms like he's been working with his hands. He doesn't look rushed or apologetic. He looks intentional. "The building closes at 10, he says. It's 10:04. I glance at my phone. He's right. "There was no sign," I reply. "There is," he says. "It just faces inward." That feels like a warning disguised as information. He steps back, giving me space. "I'm Mark, property manager." "Oh," I say. I know," he says gently. "Apartment 3B. My stomach tightens. "You check residence schedules?" "No," he replies. "I check patterns." That should bother me more than it does. I moved into the building because it's forgettable. 6 floors. Old brick. No doorman. No concierge. Just enough distance from the city's pulse that noise fades after midnight. The kind of place people pass without noticing. That's what I wanted. The apartment is small but clean. The windows overlook an alley that never quite goes dark. I work late. I come home later. I keep to myself. So does Mark. I start noticing him everywhere without realizing when it started. In the mornings, he's already in the lobby, checking the mail slots. In the evenings, he's wiping down the elevator buttons, eyes flicking up briefly when I pass. Always polite. Always distant. Always there. The first time I hear the locks again, it's for someone else. A man tries to follow me inside one night. Too close. Too quiet. His foot catches the door just as I slip through. Before I can react, Mark's hand is on the door, firm, unyielding. "Residents only," he says calmly. The man scoffs. "I'm with her." Mark doesn't look at me. "No, you're not." Something in his voice makes the man step back. The door shuts. The lock slides home. Silence. My heart pounds. "You okay?" Mark asks, finally turning to me. "Yes," I lie. He studies my face for a moment too long, then nods. "Good." He doesn't ask questions. Doesn't lecture. He just stays there until my breathing evens out. After that, the locks change. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But I notice. The side entrance stops opening after dark. The stairwell door requires a keycard it didn't before. The back alley gate is padlocked at night. "You upgrading security?" I ask casually one evening. "For certain floors," he replies. "Which ones?" "Yours," he says without hesitation. I stop walking. "That's unnecessary," I say. He meets my gaze. "Is it?" I don't answer. The truth is, I don't feel trapped. Feel contained. There's a difference. Mark never enters my apartment. Never touches me. Never lingers in conversation longer than necessary. But he watches. Not in a way that feels invasive. More like he's tracking weather patterns. Subtle shifts. Warning signs. "You don't sleep much," he says once when I run into him at 2 in the morning. "I don't," you reply. "Just not at night." He nods. "That fits." "With what?" "The way you walk," he says. Quiet. Like you don't want to wake something. The words send a shiver through me. I learn things about him slowly. He lives in the basement unit. Keeps odd hours. Knows every tenant by name but never uses them unless necessary. He fixes things before they break. The elevator stops sticking. The hallway lights stop flickering. My door stops squeaking. "You don't put in requests," he says one night. "But you notice when things change." "So do you," I reply. "Yes," he agrees. "That's my job." And locking doors for me? That's a choice. The night everything shifts, it's raining. I come home soaked, tired, distracted. The lobby is dark except for one overhead light. Mark is waiting. "You're late," he says. I know, I reply. Work. He doesn't comment. He locks the door behind me. Did something happen? I ask. Someone tried the back entrance, he says. Left when they realized it wouldn't open. My chest tightens. Was it? I don't think so, he says. But I don't like maybes. Neither do I. You didn't tell the police, I say. No, he replies. I handled it. That should scare me. Instead, it makes me feel chosen. I start staying in the lobby longer. Not intentionally, just not rushing upstairs. Mark never pressures me to leave. Never invites me to stay. He just exists in the same space, grounded and solid. One night, I asked the question that's been pressing against my ribs. Why do you do this? I ask. The locks. The watching. The way you hover. He considers before answering. Because people underestimate quiet danger, he says. And because you don't notice when you're being noticed. That sounds like surveillance, I reply. No, he says. It's prevention. And me. I ask softly. Am I a problem to prevent? He meets my eyes. You're a variable worth protecting. The words land heavy. The first time he touches me, it's accidental. My shoe breaks in the stairwell. The heel snaps clean off, sending me stumbling. Mark catches me before I fall. His hands are warm, steady, on my arms, supporting, not claiming. He releases me immediately. Sorry, he says. It's fine, I reply, breathless. Thank you. He doesn't look away fast enough. Something passes between us, acknowledgement, not desire. Not yet. After that, the tension sharpens. He starts walking me to my door at night, stopping just short, never crossing the threshold. You don't have to, I tell him. I know, he replies. I want to. That word again. Want. Unclaimed. Restrained. The confrontation comes unexpectedly. I find my apartment door ajar one evening. My heart slams into my throat. Mark is there instantly, eyes scanning, posture changing. Stay behind me, he orders. I do. The apartment is untouched. Nothing missing. Nothing moved. Someone tested the lock, he says quietly. Didn't get in. Who? I whisper. He looks at me. That's why I don't leave doors unlocked anymore. I stare at him. You never told me. You didn't need the fear, he replies. You needed the protection. The line between care and control trembles. Do I get a choice? I ask. He meets my gaze, serious. Always. Even now. Especially now. That night I don't sleep. I sit on the floor back against my couch, waiting for the dark to feel dangerous. Doesn't. Feels guarded. A knock comes at my door at 3:12 a.m. My pulse spikes. Mark. I whisper. Yes, he replies. Just checking. I open the door. He stands there, hands visible, eyes soft. You didn't have to, I say. I know, he replies. I wanted to. Silence stretches. Do you trust me? He asks quietly. I search his face. Yes, I say. Then let me stay, he replies. Right here. Outside. I nod. He sits in the hallway, back against the wall, keeping watch. He never comes inside. The morning light changes things. I bring him coffee. We sit on opposite sides of the threshold, me inside, him out. This isn't normal, I say. No, he agrees. But it's honest. What happens when this ends? I ask. He looks at me. That depends on you. The answer settles something in me. Weeks pass. Nothing bad happens. Everything changes. Mark becomes part of my life in quiet ways. Grocery bags carried. Locks checked. Presence constant. One night I say it. You don't act like someone doing a job. He nods. I stopped pretending it was one. And what is it now? He hesitates. A choice. The air thickens. The kiss happens without drama. No ruse. No urgency. Just proximity that finally closes. I step closer. He waits. I tilt my head. He exhales. Only when I move again does he lift his hand, hovering, asking. I nod. He touches my cheek like the moment matters. Because it does. After that, the locks stay. But they feel different. Not like barriers. Like boundaries we chose together. I don't own this building, he says one night. No, I agree. You just guard it. And you? He asks. I stayed, I reply. That's enough. I thought he was just managing the property. I was wrong. He was protecting a threshold and waiting to see if I choose to cross it. I did. And he locked the doors behind us, not to trap me, but to make sure no one else ever could. The change isn't immediate. It doesn't arrive with declarations or promises, or anything that feels dramatic enough to mark the moment. It settles instead, quietly, persistently, into the shape of my days. Mark doesn't start staying the night. He doesn't cross new lines just because one has already been crossed. What he does is subtler. He begins adjusting the building around me like it's an extension of his body. The hallway light outside my door stays on longer. The elevator waits an extra second before closing when I'm inside it. The stairwell door no longer slams shut. It eases closed, silent. You're changing things again, I say one evening as we stand in the lobby, the rain tapping against the glass. I'm refining, he replies. For me. He doesn't hesitate. Yes. The honesty of it still catches me off guard. I learn what his watching really means over time. It isn't obsession. It's anticipation. Mark notices before I do, when I'm tense, when my shoulders rise just a little too high, when my steps slow on the stairs. He adjusts without comment, positions himself closer, opens doors sooner, stays longer without asking. You don't hover, I tell him one night. You align. A faint smile touches his mouth. I make space. For me. For your safety, he says. Then, after a beat. And because I want to be where you are. That second admission matters more than the first. The building begins to feel different. Not smaller. Not tighter. Safer. Other tenants start commenting. Feels quieter lately, one woman says in passing. It does, I agree. Mark doesn't explain. He never does. He simply makes sure the silence holds. The next test comes quietly. A package goes missing from the mailroom. Not mine, someone else's. Voices rise. Accusations ripple through the building. Mark handles it without drama. He checks footage. Adjusts access codes. It's one more lock. Later, when we're alone, I ask, doesn't it bother you? People pushing back. He looks at me. I don't secure things to be liked. And me? I ask softly. He turns fully toward me. I secure things so they don't break. The words sink deep. The intimacy between us deepens without urgency. Sometimes we stand together in the lobby after midnight, not speaking. Sometimes he walks me to my door and stops, waiting, letting me decide whether the night ends there. Sometimes I reach for him. Sometimes I don't. He never assumes. That's the part that undoes me. You could take more. I say once, frustration slipping into my voice. His gaze sharpens, not with hunger but restraint. I could, he agrees. But I won't. Why? Because what you give freely is different from what you surrender under pressure, he says. And I don't want the second. My throat tightens. The night I finally understand what he's been building toward. There's no danger at all. No stranger. No open door. No threat. Just us. I come home late, exhausted, mind fogged with things I can't control. Mark is in the lobby, checking the panel by the door. You okay? He asks. I shake my head. He doesn't ask questions. He simply opens his arms, not wide, not demanding, just enough to offer. I step into him. He holds me like he's been waiting his entire life to do it, but like he knows better than to squeeze. You're safe, he murmurs. Not here. Not tonight. Just safe. After that, the locks remain. But they're no longer just his. I know the codes now. I help decide what stays closed and what opens. What hours feel right. What boundaries matter. You trust me, I say one evening. Yes, he replies. With everything? With what matters? I used to think safety meant distance. Locked doors. Empty rooms. No attachments. I was wrong.